Hello everyone, and now welcome to a 1v1 matchup. This game taking place here on Twisted Meadows 1.1. 120 spawning as the blue undead on the top left-hand side of the map, going up against Moon spawning as the yellow night elf. Let's go ahead and speed things up. Altar of Elders, there is a Moonwell, Ancient of War being built off next to this 5-3-1 creep camp. Going to be training up some archers. Meanwhile, Death Knight already getting trained up here as we are looking at most likely Warden. All right, Warden, the hero of choice over the much more common Keeper of the Grove or even Demon Hunter. Interesting choices overall as the archer is looking to finish things off and giving experience to that Warden here and now. All right, Ancient of War absorbing a little bit of damage. A new Ancient of War already being placed down to try and tank and creep out another creep camp. What do I like? I like this version of Twisted Meadows 1.1. One of the things I like most about it is the yellow creep camp is actually close, or this green creep camp, formerly the yellow creep camp, it has been moved from this location off to here, so you aren't as exposed in the middle of the portion of the map if you want to try and clear out a relatively easy, close, high value green creep camp overall. I think that does do a lot of changes, and I like the fact that Twisted Meadows was added back into the map pool just so we have a bit more variation. Even though the tile set is that classic forest green, no other map just simply has so much space. So being able to see Twisted Meadows 1.1 and be part of the player map pool after so many years does mean that we see some more interesting strategies as well. An evergreen map for sure. Yep. Coming back across here, Death Knight still trying to retreat away. No boots of speed on the Warden or that Death Knight as of yet, as a large number of ghouls simply marching out across the battlefield. Moon quickly retreating back with these Ancients of War, knowing that, well, his army may not be able to stand up against it. All right, Warden trying to get away and trying to get in front as the Warden still, well, trying to dodge all of this here. Ancient of War is going to end up getting caught out in the open. And if the Warden even tries to go back and protect that Ancient of War, well, the Warden could just easily get surrounded. Moon will be playing a little bit closer to the vest here in just a moment and trying to make sure that he's not going to, well, leave any of those units out in a play as we see a quick death coil. Beautiful play by 120 there as getting an easy surround on archers with this heavily invested group here. All right, a quick detonation. Is the Warden going to just try and blink out of that position? As the Warden able to actually shake free right there. There goes a single ghoul getting taken down as the Ancient of War getting in a nice 37 to 47 good bit of damage here. Moon needs to train up some more archers. The army size is just a little bit too small, but Moon does have the benefit of a little bit of home field advantage and should be able to get off more shadow strikes if necessary. All right, one archer going to get taken down. Oh, there goes a ghoul. Ghoul going to end up getting, well, denied as 120 able to get that there. That Death Knight purposely getting into harm's way, dancing back and forth in front of the Warden, making sure that Warden it doesn't, well, clean up any of those trailing ghouls. Warden has not gotten a second ability as of yet. Meanwhile, we're already at tier 2 by 120, who has picked up that Naga Sea Witch and has been able to now easily get that cold arrow down. Cold arrow coupled with the Death Knight. Death Knight still sitting only at level 1 though, doesn't have Unholy Aura as that archer is going to get taken down as well. Death Knight is holding on to 2 charges of Dust of Appearance, hence the archer could not just simply Shadow Meld. Is this a TP, a league game? Yes, game 3. All right, so you guys know what's happening more in this game than I do, as the archers are now trying to retreat back here. All right, quick detonation, taking down some of those scouts. By the way, contrary volume game sounds is perfect, right down the precise. Yeah, I tried to, and then, well, I do have a bunch of knobs on my desk, and I also have a child who is not yet 5. Oh, beautiful deny right there. Death Knight denying that final shot off, and the Warden able to save herself with a Scroll of Town portal. Coming back around, Death Knight does have a Blight here, should be able to easily regenerate some hit points. Meanwhile, that Ancient of War going to try and retreat back as the Warden finds the Death Knight out in the middle of the map. Are we going to perhaps get some Shadow Strike damage onto that Death Knight, try and prevent a retreat as, well, thank you for the follow. Death Knight going up against that Warden here. Meanwhile, on the bottom left-hand side of the map, a Tree of Life already attempting to clear out that Orange Creep Camp, that expansion location on the bottom left. Ghouls looking to clear out some easy creep camps by themselves as the Death Knight still, well, now getting up to level 2 with that long distance experience gain. We are at Tree of Ages. We are going into Hippogriffs. So Hippogriff Riders going to be the major unit for alongside these archers. We do have a web. We are teching to tier 3 as well, as we could be getting that Lich as the third and final hero. Tree of Life, taking life to, well, add a little bit more hit points onto himself here as the Hippogriff Rider, 50 to 57 damage. I always thought the archer, once it turned into a Hippogriff Rider, maybe should be given the ability to move and attack or something, because its damage is not increased, and, well, it has more hit points, but at the same time, I don't know, maybe if the Hippogriffs were smart enough, the Hippogriffs could actually move and attack at the same time as a way to make them a little bit more powerful, but maybe that's a bit too powerful. Coming back around, I think Hippogriff Riders have become a much more staple gameplay unit since they were given a bit more hit points and, well, have fallen into favor again, but thematically that would just be awesome. Coming back around, Ogre Warrior is going to get taken down here. Ancient of War down to 75 hit points as that Forest Troll Trapper may be able to take it down. No, unable to do that. Warden now sitting at level 3, getting very close to level 4, and, well, still has not used that level 2 ability as of yet, perhaps waiting to see if it needs to use Fan of Knives or Blink at the right opportunity. Coming back around here, Death Knights getting very close to level 3. Naga Sea Witch sitting comfortably at level 2. Naga Sea Witch also with some big damage. Double Mantles of Intelligence and Circlet of Nobility. Death Knight now sitting at level 3 here, as we do see the Lich now out on the battlefield. All right, Tree of Life already about mining away on this entangled gold mine. Meanwhile, this Ancient of War acting as a little bit of a toll gate, and knowing that the undead army is inbound. All right. Lot of air units here overall. Hippogriff Riders gonna perhaps catch that Lich. Death Knight, or Warden could try and get a Shadow Strike onto that Lich, and now in comes the Death Knight with that 400 hit point heal. Expansion on the bottom left could be pressured and in danger soon, as the, well, Naga, Sea Witch, and Ghouls look to take it down. All right, this army looks rather small on the mini-map, but that is simply because they are all clumped together. Death Knight now trying to catch back up here as the Warden, well, leading the charge here. Big Fan of Knives across the center. Big damage as the Ghouls getting, well, waylaid by these Hippogriff Riders and all of these Fairy Dragons. Fork Lightning coming back around here. Not enough anti-air as the Warden still leading the charge, having a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, which may need to be used here, down to 200 hit points, in a little bit of trouble. There's that Potion of Lesser Invulnerability now, and it needs to, well, head back home quickly and try and heal back up before its presence is, well, not so severely missed. All right, Death Coil cooldown enough to heal up that Crypt Fiend twice right as it was in danger, as that Hippogriff Rider does get taken out there. All right, Warden now healing back up. It is an artificial nightfall, as the Warden going to be making its way over here to the, well, bottom left, trying to hold on to this expansion. 44 supply compared to 48. Hippogriff Riders and Fairy Dragons ready to dive on in. There's a couple of webs coming down as well. Big Fan of Knives as one Crypt Fiend gets taken down. Another Ghoul could easily get taken down as the Warden now gets up to level 5. Level 3 a Shadow Strike is now on the table, as the Warden has no easy way to get out. There's that Shadow Strike, but getting finished off as the Obsidian statue dancing back and forth Fork Lightning having a little bit of additional damage as well, finishing off a Hippogriff Rider, as now Moon is just going into mass Fairy Dragons to try and avoid damage from that Fork Lightning. Fork Lightning coupled with Frost Nova limiting the movement speed and really just dealing large amounts of damage to the Night Elf Air Army. However, the faster movement speed of these air units gonna catch an Obsidian statue out in open field, and the Warden was in fact in play as it was resurrected at the tavern to gain a bit of that experience. Coming back around, is this style of play, just picking off units in transit to try and give the Warden level 6. Is that going to be enough to come away with the victory there, as the Crypt Fiend down to 350 hit points, really benefiting from that, well, medium armor, reducing the amount of damage the Hippogriff Riders and those Fairy Dragons are able to deal. Death Knight at level 3, Sea Witch at level 3, Lich is at level 2, and with this, the Warden is looking to hunt down a target or two, but ends up just suffering too much damage again. Things are not going well for Moon, as he's going to be forced to try and retreat back. There is another Death Coil down to 176 hit points, and she will be forced to heal back at home without any Druids of the Claw and Rejuvenation. However, the base is completely well defended here. 2 Spirit Towers, fast-hitting, fortified, armored buildings, acting as a deterrent for all of these air units. All right, Hippogriff Riders could try and engage here. Meanwhile, the Death Knight, Naga Sea Witch, and Lich are still just trying to level up to try and gain a bit of a hero level advantage over this solo Warden style of play. All right. Multiple Fairy Dragons, 1 Hippogriff Rider, 600 range, 300 range. Those Fairy Dragons really, I guess, quote-unquote, falling short in terms of their damage, as the Crypt Fiends are able to get in that piercing damage pretty fast. Meanwhile, what is Moon really trying to do, and what is Moon really planning here to get back into this match? 43 over 60 supply. Warden going to go ahead and dive on in here and go Fan of Knives across all of these units. Shadow Meld there, and then now no more mining really whatsoever. There goes another Acolyte here, and the Acolytes are simply just all spread apart, not doing any mining at all. There's another big Fan of Knives going after a handful of ghouls. That ghoul is going to end up surviving here. As you can see, the Acolytes nearly back up to full hit points already after a very short period of time. All right, another Acolyte could end up getting taken down. That Spirit Tower, however, causing quite a bit of problems, as the Warden going to go ahead and Shadow Meld again. There's another little bit of damage. Are we going to see a Fan of Knives there? No, doesn't have enough mana, and now going to Staff of Teleportation to head back home. All right. Belt of Giant Strength going to be dropped. A lot of big heals. Death Knight. Are we going to see a Death Coil? No Death Coil onto the low hit point Warden. The Warden sitting at level 5 as the main base of Moon now getting pressured. There was no mining here for quite some time, so we know that Moon has mined more gold than his opponent overall, 36 compared to 43, in addition to this an expansion on the bottom left. All right, Fairy Dragons quickly, while trying to go into that Mana Flare mode, a little bit of additional armor to protect itself, but those Crypt Fiends, after webbing it down, will be able to easily take it out. All right, Warden now going after this Rock Golem creep camp, even though the Warden cannot get to level 6 here. Instead, hiring up some Goblin Sappers. All right, 1 Goblin Sapper now making its rounds, perhaps going to try and go after these 2 Spirit Towers here. And are we going to go ahead and dive on into position here? Going to go ahead and blink, and now Goblin Sapper does find its targets, but there is just some repairs in time. Those 2 Spirit Towers were able to be repaired. Beautiful response by 120 to not lose these 2 Spirit Towers and the supply that they provide. 42 over 40 supply now. Many of the moon wells have been cleaned up. Moon needing to finish off, trying to take down some of those acolytes here. Warden in a lot of serious trouble, going to try and Scroll of Town Portal away, taking down as many acolytes as possible as the Scroll of Town Portal going to whisk them back home. But still, that Warden is shy of level 6. Scroll of Town Portal does head back home here, but the moon wells are many of the moon wells were destroyed, thereby preventing a lot of the healing that is necessary for that Warden. Is the Warden going to get to level 6 and then suddenly make a drastic change overall as we see another Tree of Life being placed down by Moon? That is Moon's favorite strategy here on Twisted Meadows. Expand all over the place, and hopefully your opponent can simply not be able to catch up. Boots of Speed, Staff of Teleportation, units trying to run all the way back around. There is another expansion here at the starting location as this expansion about to come to an end. Warden looking to come in across from the other side here, and there's a big fan of knives, takes down one acolyte. Additional acolytes could get taken down. There goes another as the Warden is still shy of level 6. All right, are we going to see more fan of knives? Yes, there is level 6. Are we going to see the Avatar of Vengeance? Yes, we are, right next to a graveyard, and here we are. A sudden influx of units that are impervious to damage. All right, that Warden still taking a little bit of piercing damage from that Spirit Tower now, trying to finish off any of these units overall. Meanwhile, the air units could actually try and engage at this point and try and do a little bit of something. In comes a Scroll of Town Portal. The Warden looking to finish off some more units here. Are we going to see a Scroll of Town Portal trying to finish off these units as the Warden down to 113 hit points, trying to keep a little bit of distance. Staff of Teleportation, Warden down to 44, 34, 26 hit points after all this time. All right, that Avatar of Vengeance still has the Spirit of Vengeances causing problems inside of the base as the Avatar of Vengeance does get shut down, thereby killing all these Spirits of Vengeances as well. All right, only one acolyte mining, as more acolytes do need to be trained, but we are low on supply, sitting at 44 over 40, currently upside down and unable to get any more, train up any additional acolytes, as a Tree of Life going to make its way over here to the, 1 o'clock expansion location. All right, 30 supply army going up against 43. Another fairy dragon going to get taken down. Is the Warden going to be able to carry the team on her back by herself? Warden down to 400 hit points. A Spirit Tower could end up getting taken down right here. Scroll of Town Portal not used. No, that's a blink into the back as the Warden is going to be in trouble, down to 17, 19 hit points. Are we going to see a big, where's the Scroll of Town Portal going to? Scroll of Town Portal heading off to this expansion location, and that must absolutely be confusing as the Warden is, pretty much nowhere to be seen right now by 120. All right. Warden trying to dodge that Death Knight any way it can. Does have Blink. The Death Knight still wandering around here. Meanwhile, we're looking at Claws of Attack +9, and this creep camp perhaps going to get cleaned up here, as we could be looking at a bunch of piercing damage against that Destroyer. Warden coming back around, currently invisible, has a potion of lesser invulnerability and a scroll of healing, all benefits of all of these secret expansions that he's set up after all of this time. All right, gonna try and engage. There's a big fan of knives here. There's a Scroll of Healing, Death Coil across onto the Warden. The Warden trying to gain some damage onto that unit there. Are we gonna see a Shadow Strike trying to get in the way? There's a Blink. There's a fan of knives as the Death Knight cannot finish off the Warden as it doesn't have enough mana. All right, Destroyer trying to retreat back here. Meanwhile, the Undead Army trying to take down the main Tree of Ages in the center portion as an expansion could be established up here by Moon. All right, Warden now running away back down to the south. And if you asked me why I like Twisted Meadows, it is because crazy games like this can take place again, but I don't want every game to be as crazy as this. So a little bit of separation, just good overall. Death Knight going to try and go up against that Warden here, going to go ahead and blink through the forest as the Death Knight unable to follow. Warden down to 135 hit points, trying to keep its distance. Death Coil onto the Warden. The Warden tried to blink, but it was not able to, as the Spirit of Vengeances are now going after the more of these Spirit Towers. If he can take down more of the Spirit Towers, then suddenly, more Acolytes cannot be trained up. There is currently no workers whatsoever at all as this Avatar of Vengeance is trying to retreat back. Meanwhile, this expansion down to the bottom left has been scouted out. This one has not been scouted out, but it has not undergone full mining operations just quite yet. All of these secret moon bases is really causing problems, as the Warden does have a potion of lesser invulnerability here and continuing that pressure on into the main base. 120 trying to finish things off, and there is a blink to the low ground to try and hide. 40 over 20 supply, and with this, 120 cannot get any additional mining done unless he loses units. If he loses units at this point in the stage in the game, well, the Warden's Avatar of Vengeance may end up carrying the game as we've seen in the past. All right, this expansion here is still taking a little bit of damage. This expansion off to the north, fully saturated. This starting location expansion, fully mining, as well as Moon is establishing up his original base once more. All right, attempting to take down this haunted gold mine. Lich is back across here. And what does it take to beat Undead? Apparently, magic immune flying units, as the fairy dragons have been quite the thorn in 120's side. Meanwhile, the Warden is still nearby here. Fork Lightning going to finish off with the remainder of those wisps there, as that is the game. Moon winning as 120 throws in the towel, even though he had the higher hero score, unable to deal with, well, the overall resource advantage that he had. Nearly outmining his opponent by double the amount, 9,000 compared to 17,000 overall. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.